For decades, neuroscientists have been conducting some of the most controversial research in modern science, mapping exactly what happens inside believers' brains during moments of intense faith. Using cutting-edge brain imaging technology, they've discovered something that challenges the very foundation of religious experience. Using a device dubbed the God Helmet, he could artificially trigger profound religious experiences by stimulating specific brain regions with electromagnetic fields. Atheist volunteers reported encountering divine presences, feeling overwhelming spiritual unity, and experiencing direct communication with God, all while sitting in a laboratory chair with electrodes attached to their heads. This experiment suggested something shocking: our most sacred experiences might have purely biological origins. Advanced neuroimaging reveals that the prefrontal cortex, our brain's center for critical thinking, logical analysis, and skeptical inquiry, actually decreases in activity during prayer and meditation. Our ancestors, who could suppress individual critical thinking in favor of group cohesion, were more likely to survive tribal conflicts and resource shortages. The same brain circuits that helped early humans cooperate in survival situations can now be exploited by belief systems to maintain unquestioning loyalty and compliance. Blood flow to this region drops significantly, and neural firing patterns slow dramatically. Brain imaging shows that during dramatic spiritual transformations, massive reorganization occurs in neural pathways governing self-identity and social attachment. The process resembles what happens during severe psychological trauma or psychedelic drug experiences. Normal reality testing mechanisms become temporarily disabled, allowing new belief structures to implant themselves without critical scrutiny. Brain scans show that questioning faith activates the same neural regions as physical threats, causing believers to experience criticism, the literal attacks on their survival. Are our most sacred spiritual moments simply dopamine rushes? Is the sense of divine presence just temporal lobe activity? If faith is primarily a neurological phenomenon, what does this mean for the billions who structure their entire lives around spiritual convictions? Are we witnessing the gradual scientific dissolution of humanity's oldest beliefs? As you consider this evidence, remember, your own brain might be actively resisting these ideas right now, triggering those same protective mechanisms that evolution designed to preserve belief against contradictory information. What do you think? Are we finally seeing through the neurological illusion of divine experience, or are scientists missing something profound about consciousness itself? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more disturbing truths about the human mind. Is religious transcendence merely a sophisticated trick played by our own neurology? The mounting scientific evidence suggests that what billions interpret as encounters with the divine may actually be the predictable result of evolutionary programming in our neural circuitry. Mirror neuron research indicates that observing others in religious states can trigger similar brain patterns in observers, explaining how spiritual movements spread rapidly through populations. The human brain appears designed to unconsciously mimic the neural states of those around us, making us vulnerable to collective spiritual experiences and mass religious movements. What we call spiritual awakening might simply be neural synchronization between individuals. The implications extend beyond religion. Modern social media platforms use algorithms specifically designed to trigger these same reward pathways and bypass critical thinking, much like ancient spiritual rituals. Political movements and extremist ideologies have learned to harness these neural mechanisms to foster deep loyalty and suppress dissent. Controlled experiments at Harvard University confirmed this effect. Believers consistently scored 15 to 20% lower on analytical thinking tests immediately after religious activities. The brain's doubt center literally switches off when exposed to spiritual stimuli, leaving people in a state of enhanced suggestibility and reduced capacity for independent thought. The results are so disturbing that some researchers have faced pressure to suppress their findings. What they found suggests that our most sacred spiritual moments might be nothing more than sophisticated neurological illusions. The story begins in the 1990s when Dr. Michael Persinger at Laurentian University made a groundbreaking discovery. Modern brain imaging has revealed the disturbing truth about religious experience. When scientists place devout believers inside fMRI machines during prayer or meditation, three specific brain regions activate with remarkable consistency. The limbic system and dopamine pathways, the exact same neural circuits hijacked by cocaine, heroin, and other addictive substances, flood with activity during prayer and worship. Brain scans reveal that believers' neural chemistry during spiritual highs is nearly identical to drug addicts during their euphoric states. Studies show that regular churchgoers develop tolerance patterns similar to substance abusers, requiring increasingly intense spiritual experiences to achieve the same neurochemical reward. In other words, faith can be literally addictive at the molecular level. First, the temporal lobe, the same area associated with epileptic seizures and schizophrenic hallucinations, shows intense activity during spiritual states. Patients with temporal lobe epilepsy often report profound religious visions during seizures, describing encounters with divine beings and feelings of cosmic unity. The neural patterns are virtually identical to normal religious experience, raising the unsettling question: are spiritual encounters simply controlled seizure-like activity in our brains? Even more disturbing is what happens in the brain's reward system during religious activities. Perhaps the most shocking finding involves what doesn't happen during religious states. Leading evolutionary psychologists propose this isn't accidental. Religious belief may have evolved as a sophisticated social control mechanism, literally rewiring our neural architecture to accept hierarchical authority without question. This evolutionary programming explains why challenging someone's religious beliefs triggers such intense emotional responses. Recent studies reveal that religious belief may be neurologically contagious. Modern neuroscience has also mapped the mechanism behind religious conversion experiences. So we're confronted with a profound and uncomfortable reality. As brain imaging technology becomes more precise, the gap between religious experience and measurable brain chemistry continues to shrink. The implications are staggering.